Hey there, Editor Jess here. This was supposed to be out before or on Halloween. Instead, it's Black Friday, which, I mean, at least the color's appropriate. Work and mental health and lacking a good plan for this doll kept me from finishing this video on time, but here it is. Also, I figured out how to record half-decent audio on my computer. Unfortunately, I didn't know that while making the doll and live narrated a lot of it. So the audio was going to be all over the place. I'm sorry. This will be the norm until I save up for a decent week. Anyway, on to my pre-recorded intro from before things got complicated. You will be able to tell that it got complicated on the video. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Happy spoopy season, everyone. No, that is a terrible word. Who made that word? Yeah, welcome back to Lemon Sunset. We are doing our Halloween special. It's the only series I've done consistently for, I think I'm at 4 years. It's weird that I'm consistent with my Halloween videos, considering we don't really celebrate Halloween in my house. After my sister and I stopped trick-or-treating, it kind of went just, which is a shame, because I'm a costumer. I should be doing costumes. But I don't live in a place where people hire other people to do their costumes, so here I am, and this is the only dressing up I'll do for Halloween. This is depressing. let's move on. But I'm getting rid of the red light. It's just this. I committed to the chaos, so here we are, chaos. I am boiling. The fan is on over here because it's the only way. But so Torelai, she's getting customized. Yeah. At this precise moment, I have not actually decided what she's gonna be yet. I'm gonna have it over here right now. My sketch. It's cool, right? It's a cool sketch. Let's see. Yeah. I will be honest, there's a good chance that this sketch right here is actually after I've made the doll, not before. 'Cause you just kind of let it happen, man. You just let it go, and it does what it's gonna do, and so we're gonna make this now. Yeah, great transition, right, guys? so we are gonna start by undressing Torelai. Fun thing, she's got torso articulation, which, as we know, is not the normal for the old Monster High dolls. This is a Spectra. I don't know which generation from, but she's very discolored. I don't think does her arm match her? Yes, her arms and her legs match her face, but the torso, no. I'm gonna have to do something about that when I eventually customize her, because I'm not customizing her anytime soon. She was gonna be my Halloween special. Not anymore. So the tail doesn't come out. Her underwear had this spider web pattern, which is good in concept until you consider the reality of a spider web underwear. We are going to remove her face with Goof Off. Do I recommend this for everybody else? Absolutely not, but this is what I have. It takes it off really easy. If you have a choice, use 100% acetone or something like that, but I use this. Don't be me. But if you are me, don't do it in your room where there's no ventilation. So I'm going to do that now, off screen, because as I said, there's no ventilation in this room.
So, here are some pieces. I was going to make everything from scratch and figure out the pattern on my own, but that's not working. So, I'm going to pick apart this skirt and then lengthen it for what I need. This is the original Torelai skirt. It's even got I'm going to figure that out. And then I'm going to repaint this. I'm going to turn it black. Also, she's getting a cute top hat. I got these a few years back as Christmas decorations, and now I'm using them in a Halloween doll. So I've got one for her and one for her mace. As you can see, the top and bottom are not well, some sections of this are not well connected. So I'm going to paint them black. Yeah, I'm going to paint them black, reattach them, and get them ready to be on my cat, my pumpkin cat ghost, and her pumpkin mace, because they're going to have matching hats, because I have 3. Why not? They've been sitting for long enough. So, let's start by painting the tops of the hats. Got some old black paint. It is very stinky, but that's not relevant to you, so what do you care? So I'm going to do a second layer on these probably. I'll do this while I'm at it. I will finish those off screen because you don't need multiple clips of me just applying paint over and over again. And then I will come back to reattach the fabric because I am keeping this fabric. I briefly considered making it the pumpkin and I decided, nah, this would be more fun. So there we go. I'm going to apologize right now for the audio quality going up and down on these clips because I keep going back and forth about whether or not I'm going to actually use the mic that I have. This clip has the mic, the previous clip didn't. I don't know. I'm like that. Anywho, I successfully picked apart the skirt and one of the shirts that torelai came with. I ironed them out so they were nice and flat and easier to trace for the patterns, but the print transferred to the ironing board. My mom wasn't happy about that because that's her ironing board, so there's now this pattern on it. It did not, however, transfer to the paper that I ironed it on, which was then I used it to cut out the thing. I don't understand sometimes. I don't get it. Anywho, I'm from Whoville apparently. Picked these apart, traced out some patterns. Here they are. Did a mock-up of the skirt already, and it's super cute. I'm very happy with how it came out. I just have the minor problem that it doesn't freaking fit. Switched the battery out. It died middle of the clip. Funsies. Anyway, I have decided to yeet that. There will be no upper binding. What I'm going to do is use some seam binding and just make this kind of a skirt around her hips that'll also tie, I think. Haven't quite decided about that. But here are the fabrics for the skirt. For the coat, I'm going to just paint it black. I considered making one. I'm not going to be able to sew that. But so I'm going to paint it black. I got some black fabric paint. This is the only fabric paint they had that wasn't like slick paint, and I didn't want to mess with that. I'm only going to do one side at a time. Am I worried about paint rubbing off on her neck via the color? Yes. But I'm also worried about it leaving it red and messing up the whole color scheme. And we will return to painting on the other side. 4 layers of fabric paint on the front. Now we do the back. There we go. We'll see the end result now. The back is finished. All done. Now it's time for the bronze detail. And apparently we're only going to need 1 coat. Shazam. Boom. And here we paint her accessories. The boots I stole from a Professor McGonagall doll. I make the laces green, and the toe and sole is brushed bronze. I also add green to her claws, and make 1 ear in green and 2 bronze. Putting gears on the boots for no other reason than I need it to be more steampunk. So we're going to assemble the hat. But there goes the top. Here comes the pin that will make it so it'll stick in her head. And then this little green ribbon. Tried it on her a little bit of a few seconds ago. She looks really cute. Oh, it's so cute with her little ears. Now, the problem I'm having is I want to do this. But I need to put gears first, and then where do I put the bow? Does the bow go over it or under it? Let's see. Number one rule of crafting. Just of any art. If it's not working, let it go.
When I try on the outfit, I realize it needs more steampunk elements to match the hat and boots.
For the straps, I'm going to use the green I've been using thus far. Just going to hand stitch them like that.
I paint the buttons different metals to match the gears.
Let's add the collar to the shirt. The collar now is on. All I have to do is attach this bow. Camera died before you could see the final result, but you basically had. Here's the shirt. Now moving on to the jacket cuffs. First, I'm going to cut them in half. Then I'm going to fold them. They're a bit like that. And then so. Alright, the cuffs are attached. I think they look pretty freaking cool. Now I'm going to add the ribbon, make them extra nice. And the last detail will be the button. Thread and ribbon are basically the same. So this totally disappears. Ta-da! Oof, that looks nice.
I used my sewing machine to ruffle this sheer ribbon, and I'm going to attach it with black embroidery thread. This will attach the ruffle and bulk up the hem into an actual detail.
Alright, everything is done. Everything has been applied. Doo-doo. So, we are going to apply buttons. Ba-ba. Unnecessary sound effects. Except that I find them highly necessary. Okay, we're going to let those sit for a bit and work on the cut. That's all the buttons. Next time you see these, it'll be on the finished doll. And we begin.
The face-up was inspired by a character called Pumpkitty, who I don't have the rights to use her actual image, so you'll have to look her up. Just don't look too deep because she has a very particular kind of following. You've been warned. I drew in pumpkin lines and eyes in black, then used oranges and reds for features, shading, and contour. Her eyebrows are as close to her hair color as I could manage, and her lips will be green. The second layer was just deepening these colors, but it's a bit blur. It's as blurry as this first clip, so let's skip ahead. The paint came in pretty quick since I knew that was the only way to do the greens. My hand has gotten so much steadier since the last time I painted a face. It actually looks really good here. I used more of the brushed bronze paint to give her a kitty nose. Very cute on this otherwise creepy face. For the lips, I used a technique I picked up from some classic Disney movies of painting the upper lip darker than the lower. It makes them seem fuller and removes the need to add a line between them I always struggle with. They're just so tight in there. It's just, yeah. I also used 2 greens for her eyes to add some shading. And then the brush bronze came back in to define the lashes so they don't just blend in with the all black iris.
At my mother's suggestion, we're adding a stripe of orange to her lip. Yep, I like it. Now for the most important part, the eye white. This is where dolls get their life, even when they're ghosties. She looks pretty freaking great. All I gotta do is let her dry and gloss her up. Woohoo! Her face is finished. So it's time to undo the burrito. So for her mace, I'm going to use this stick that I've had for several years. It was really long, really inconvenient, but I knew eventually I'd use it for a custom. And here we go. Here is the pumpkin that'll make up the head. It was a juice container, but the top hat fits perfectly in here like a cork. It like makes the noise and everything. So all I had to do was drill a hole large enough for the stick, and boom. It will also be centered it'll also go through the cork top hat thingus. So it'll be nice and stable. And then I'll decorate it with gears and beads and paint. But first of all, I need to paint it. I need to paint both these actually. I'm going to go and spray paint these off screen. I mean, I technically have to leave the orange, but I think it would be more fun to do some paint effects. So I'm going to do that.
I used spray paint, acrylic paint applied with a sponge, paint pens, and gel crayons to bring the pumpkin to life. Like so many layers. But for one of my first attempts at like a realistic paint on just straight plastic, really good. I put a wood bead to cap the bottom of the mace with a gold gear for decoration. Then I painted the bead brushed bronze. When it came to the hat, I actually lost the original velvet ribbon. Very annoyed. Instead, I used some glitter ribbon I had and covered the actual glitter part with more of the green, so it's just the black. I gathered some of the green I used for the skirt ruffle and paired it with some leaves. Then I just applied gears and a bow. The gear on top was the last detail, and it suits the mace perfectly, making it seem less like a cute little hat and more an integral part of the mace.
I think he looks freaking amazing. Wow. Alright, final step. I'm going to put this all together. So first I'm going to put on these gears. These will be glued into place once this is on the pumpkin. And now we're going to wrap this. And here is our pumpkin mace. All the pieces are gathered. Let's put her together.
So the final theme for this doll, if you haven't guessed, is the humanoid ghost of a cat killed by a steampunk pumpkin chucking cannon out for revenge. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I love her so much I don't care.
And here she is. Time for her photo shoot.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to like if you enjoyed my artistic madness. I have 2 more dolls I plan to finish before year's end, and my Lunar New Year's doll in January, possibly something for Valentine's Day, and then a crazy multi-doll project after that. If any of that sounds fun, make sure to subscribe. See you soon. Aloha!